Back in Canada, Defense Minister Anita Anand has just announced more military aid for Ukraine. Up to this point, Canada has sent heavy artillery, anti-tank weapons, and ammunition. CBC's Evan Dyer joins us now live from Ottawa. So, Evan, this was billed as Canada's biggest shipment yet. What exactly did Anand have to say?
Well, Anand announced that Canada will be sending a large amount of one single item, which is ammunition for that artillery that Canada has already provided, along with a number of other countries. So 155 millimeter shells that are fired from howitzers. These are shells that can travel in excess of 30 kilometers and in fact include a guided version, although it's not clear whether that's part of that shipment. More on that in a second. Right there, we're seeing one of the very howitzers that can fire these shells. That is the M777 howitzer used by Canadian forces. There we see a self-propelled howitzer. Also, that tracked vehicle has basically the same gun mounted on something very like a tank chassis. And these are sort of very important to the Ukrainians' pushback against Russian armor, which of course is the war that we're seeing in the East now, very much a war of armor and artillery. So what's going today? Well, we're told there's 20,000 shells going to Ukraine, 155 millimeter shells, but there are some details we're still trying to straighten out. One issue is that each shell is actually three components. There's the charge pack that fires the shell out of the barrel, there's the shell itself, and then there's the fuse on the nose of the shell that causes it to detonate on impact or in proximity to a target. And all three of those, we know, are part of the shipment. So it's not fully clear yet whether we're talking about 20,000 shells, in other words, 60,000 components, or 20,000 components, which would be fewer than 7,000 shells. Another question, too. This gun does fire some very expensive guided ammunition that can be steered to the target and at a dramatically higher cost than the ordinary unguided shell. The price of this package, $98 million, suggests that we're talking unguided shells. Are there any guided shells in the mix? We don't know. We have seen evidence, though, that the Ukrainian army is using them and using them to target high-value targets, including, for example, Russian officers, senior Russian officers. So all of that is on the way and will be used in those howitzers that Ukraine received from Canada and from several other NATO members as well.
Evan, so many of us are unfamiliar with the significance of the shells, what distinguishes one from another. Help us understand, why are they so important to Ukraine?
Well, these shells really are one of the top requests Ukraine has been making, the shells and, of course, the howitzers that fire them. Perhaps anti-ship missiles would be the only other thing that Ukraine has been so persistently asking for. And the reason for that is because they allow the Ukrainian army to really reach out and attack massed Russian artillery, and with the guided shells, even individual Russian vehicles at much greater ranges than some of the best-known weapons we've seen in this war, such as the Javelin, shoulder-launched anti-tank missiles. Weapons of that kind typically can only reach out to sort of the 2, 3, 4 kilometer range at best. This can reach out 10 times as far. And in combination with drones particularly, or with satellite intelligence, real-time satellite intelligence provided by Western allies to target this artillery, it's just an extremely effective weapon that negates some of Russia's innate advantages in terms of tanks particularly, and just numbers. The overwhelming armored force that Russia has, this is Ukraine's best defense against it.